My name is Karthik. I'm the line producer for The Grounds.
Hello, I'm Jean-François Guastalla, design director for The Grounds.
Excellent. Top line, what is The Grounds?
So The Grounds is the most social experience in FC. It's the social hub in FC. It's centered around three key components that players or fans have been asking for, particularly our club's community. So there's more ways to play together than ever before in The Grounds. Play together means, cooperatively and cooperatively against other people who are playing with their friends, clubmates, whoever. It's centered around building your football identity, be it individually or with your club and creating that club identity. And lastly, it's about exploration and playing football immersed in football culture, whether it is on pitch, which you all have already experienced, and then the new exciting component is the off-pitch experiences. It's a brand new open world with 3 different districts inspired by football cultures, etc. So it's within this backdrop that you get to experience the streets to stadium fantasy.
Mm. And does this replace the clubs mode? Is clubs still a big part? And how does clubs tie into the overall progression of your player?
Got it. It does not replace the clubs. The clubs is one of the many ways to play together in The Grounds. So when we thought about how do we enable more ways for people to play together and what reasons would they have to play together, in what context they want to do so, the thing that kept coming back from all of the different voices in the community was, depending on which clubmates are online, what's the skill level of that group, where they are in their journey of skill, and what type of challenge they want to take. Different experiences matter to them at different points. So we've built sort of like a range of these experiences, some really competitive to like some very hyper chill. And it's up to our fans to decide when they want to do what and how much of at any given time. So on the far end, the hyper competitive ones would be the club league and playoffs. And we've introduced club tournaments now where two clubs go head to head in a tournament format, like 4 rounds, and you have to kind of win consecutively. And as you go up in the rounds, you match make against other clubs also playing those rounds at that given time. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we've got these football adjacent experiences, party like experiences almost, where it's like dodgeball meets football experience or basketball meets football experience. There's also bocce ball based experience in there. There's also drop kick targets, which is like in the world. You don't have to be in any football pitch in the districts. Any place you can just spawn the ball, aim with the right stick, and then shoot and knock down these targets in different parts of the world.
Mm. So, yeah. I want to hear from both of you. I think when this mode was first spoken about, there was some concern based on similar modes in other games that have went in a very heavily monetized direction. I'd like to hear from both of you what the monetization plan is and what does a free-to-play player look like month 1 compared to someone who's willing to monetize month 1.
Got it. So one of the things about the club's experience today and what the club's fans tell us about why they love hanging out in that space, they talk about that space being it's our space to cool off when we want to break from the competitive grind, or it's our place to just hang around and do whatever we want to do, and without I got to finish this by 2 weeks or it's going to go away and I'm not going to be able to progress my character and this and that. For us, from the very beginning, that has been a core sort of like pillar of like, hey, we have to retain the identity of the mode, is retaining that this is it's a chill, it's a space that you can turn either as chill, as casual as you want it to be. You can take it to the competitive end on the club side, but we've not made that as the identity or the component of the experience. So when you say free to play, I think you're talking about the non-spender experience, somebody who doesn't want to spend in the experience. Everything has been intentionally designed and tuned in such a way that you can earn AXP everywhere. Like, it doesn't matter. You don't need to be playing only in tournaments or league and playoffs to be able to like earn and progress your characters. We're introducing amps, which is a new type of consumable that allows you to build craft in more flexible ways than the archetype system where it had the playstyle slots, and like if it was this archetype, only these playstyles apply. We've broken that component out a bit to give players a bit more flexibility, as they've been asking for us to do. So with a defender archetype, you can apply a attacker-based amp on top of it, like a hurricane with an incisive plus, incisive pass plus, like playstyle can now go on a defender archetype if you so earn them. And again, these amp consumables, you can earn them in a variety of different sources, and more information will reveal as and when like the tuning details are figured out in the coming weeks. Then the spender experience is, and in 26, our fans got to see a bit of like how we have positioned consumables and why they exist, and the purposes are going to carry over into 27. Like if you've had to take a break and you're trying to catch up on your progression, you can earn AXP consumables, but there's also a way to load up from the store if that's your choice. Same things with amps. There's plenty of amps that are going to allow you to do plenty of different build crafting things. But if you're looking for something very specific because you're trying to do a niche build craft that does this, the store will help augment and give you those types of options. Same thing with Vanity. Vanity is going to be available like streetwear, matchstick, available through a range of sources, from finishing stuff in the world experience to the stadium experience. But if you want to go and like, hey, I want to sport that specific Argentinian streetwear look, then there's a store in the Argentina district where you can go and get that. Anything to add?
No, it was great.
Would there be any vanity items that can only be purchased via real world currency, or can everything be earned?
No, everything can be earned. Maybe like all things in the store can be bought with points and earned currency. I think that's what you're trying to get at. Yeah, yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the districts and how they've been inspired by different footballing cultures, because I thought it was interesting that when I saw the Cage district, immediately my mind went to UK players, actually, because of like the kind of inner city London. A lot of the young England team have come from that Cage football. Obviously the ring around Paris is a huge inspiration for that as well. How were those three districts chosen?
Well, first, before we chose a district, we wanted to ensure that the world we were building was doing specific things, starting with the size of it. How big is too big? How small is too small? For 100 players, and all the different types of activities we wanted to integrate into the world. Then looking at the metrics, like how big each of those pitches need to be. There are a lot of things that we took in consideration before even starting to think about, okay, now we know that. What kind of regions could we represent if we could only represent 3, for example? And then we started in collaboration with the community, but also with Copa 90, who really helped us like dig into those regions and help us find the ones that felt the more contrasted. Like the anti-vision would be, oh, it's just Europe. You know, we want to like, when you go from a district to another one, there is a change, and that change needs to be seen, felt, and heard. So you've been playing probably a little bit.
I played.
I don't think you've played with headphones.
No.
But you know, the music and all the different like sounds you can find in each district is actually very specific to those regions, for example. So that really brings you into those regions. And we've tested that with the community, even with communities that were outside of those regions. For example, we asked German players, what do they think about the 3 regions? Would you like to have Germany instead? And surprisingly, no. As long as what they saw felt authentic to them, and in the way they felt like this is what it should be if I was in the UK or in France, or at least that's the fantasy I have. I think that's all mattered there. Now, through live events, as you know, we're gonna do some updates in the world to represent all different regions. So those 3 regions are just the main backdrop of the world, but this world is going to evolve to represent everybody along the year.
I'm interested in the mentors, the kind of quest system. Does that kind of kick off the experience? Is that an onboarding idea, or I suppose what I'm getting at is there a lot of quests from those characters, or is it more find your feet, meet these famous players that you've said that they have voice acting, but perhaps they're not there for the long run? So how much kind of content with those mentors is in the game?
I don't know how many hours of content it is, but it's more than what you're describing. If the fear is like, oh, they're only going to be here for like 30 minutes and then disappear, no, not at all. Each mentor has different milestones composed of a lot of different objectives that you can complete. And at the beginning, of course, they are going to introduce you to all the fundamentals of gameplay and all the different activities you can be part of in the world. But as you progress, those objectives are going to be more long-term objectives and give you goals that incentivize you into mastery. And also like longer, probably like engagement goals in between those core matches. So that's the goal here. It's quite a lot of content, and completing objectives is going to ramp up in terms of time of engagement.
To me, this is almost like an entirely separate game from the rest of the FC experience. But from your roadmap, and as you've mentioned, like the Ultimate Scream, there'll be crossover. Team of the Year, there'll be crossover. Does that make it easier to have a cohesive kind of message across the entire game, or do you have enough scope where for one campaign the grounds will be totally different from Ultimate Team, or is it kind of, are we trying to do the whole message across the product?
Bit of both. The known intersection points are, we're still planning this out. Like, the campaigns that we shared a bit in the earlier today when you saw, or yesterday when you saw the presentation, like, and for your audience, like Champions League based like campaign, and one based off of Halloween, another based off of like the Black Friday time. There's like Thunderstruck, and then Team of the Year. So like the known ones where we do want the intersection deliberately are sort of the biggest moments. Champions League is big, and it's universal. Like all fans of all modes enjoy it. Team of the Year has just become this big moment for FC fans. Like, fans of all modes are excited to see which Team of the Year selections made it across which leagues, etc. And for those types of moments, we want to share the stage because we want them, like players, to be like cross hopping between modes and being like, let me check out what's the thing over here. How are they celebrating this moment in the space? But we do plan to have moments that are unique to the grounds. There may be, there's so many campaigns in Ultimate Team.
Yeah.
There is no free spots, right? Like, so I don't want to say there's going to be one in the grounds while there's nothing in Ultimate Team. Ultimate Team's always buzzing. But there will be some unique takes on even the Halloween one. It's not Ultimate Scream. It's Screaming Grounds, and the names are similar, but it's our take on that same campaign rather than what they are doing, celebrating, etc.
I suppose that's kind of my question for the likes of Team of the Year. Obviously, you can't go into specifics, but when you talk about the Team of the Year Ultimate Team campaign, you know what that is because you've been playing the game for 15 years. How does that manifest in the grounds? Is it suit cosmetics? Is it just like fancy items that are around the world? I suppose when you showed the concept for the Screaming Grounds with the pumpkins and stuff, you understand how that works. The world is decorated for Halloween, but how does that manifest for things that are more conceptual, like an award show?
Got it. So a couple things here. One is what, and we still haven't even gotten to designing and planning this out because we're still working on the first few things. But here are the ideas of or why that felt exciting to us, right? During Team of the Year, it has evolved over the years, right? And I used to be on Ultimate Team side as well. Where it is right now, it has become so big and popular that fans of every region want their players to be celebrated, their best players to be celebrated, like Bundesliga, EPL, etc., right? For us, like when we thought about it, it goes back to that district question of like, hey, like Bundesliga in Germany is not celebrated in these 3 districts as you understand it, but something like a Team of the Year Bundesliga gives us the perfect opportunity to do a takeover of the world where we're celebrating German football and German football performances, clubs, players, etc. So that's one very specific football culture reason that we want to, like inclusive culture reason why we want to do that. The other thing is, okay, what would be different that I would be doing? So those would come around like the objectives, live events that we're gonna like new objectives and live events that we would inject. Obviously, we don't know exactly what those are, and we're gonna kind of see how it plays out. And with the introduction of amps like this year, and they were deliberately designed so that, because that was also based off of feedback that like, hey, I am build crafting my archetypes, etc., based off of like, I want a little bit of this player, I want a little bit of this player. That gave us the idea to like to theme the amps based off of what real life footballers are really good at.
Yeah.
So a Hurricane amp would have like an incisive pass and an attacker related like perk or something like that. So if you're another different archetype, you can sort of try to pick that and like try to build craft your unique way. So those would be themed to those performances. At least that's our idea. So we just have to get there.
Excellent. And just finally, this is obviously the first year for this. It's very clearly the inception of what will become like a multi-year kind of mode in the game and stand alongside the rest of the offering in FC. What does success look like for this mode for each of you? Is it a player that is absolutely hooked, or a player that plays it as part of the rest of their diet of Ultimate Team and career mode and everything else?
For us is to make it evolve in a way that truly makes sense with what the community is looking for, what the trends of the industry are going to become 2, 3, 4 years from now that we cannot predict, and how players consume video games is pretty different from what it was 5 years ago. So you're asking 5 years from now, well, we don't know, but we know it's gonna change. So we wanted to build a game in a way that is flexible enough for us to react as quick as possible. And of course, we're gonna work with the community day one. We started day one the production of it. We are not going to stop here. It's just the beginning. We want to hear more from the community now that you can actually play the game and get a real feel for it and see what else would you like to be able to do in that world, and then just make it happen.
So, great answer. For me, a couple things comes to mind, like success-wise. One is, when I go back to like I have young kids now, and I kind of see how they experience gaming and just that genuine laughter that they have where they're not critiquing it, they're not like, being pessimistic. They're just letting go of everything and just being caught up in the moment as like 2 or 3 young kids playing, laughing, having a blast, and just being like, that was a great experience and I want to do more of it. I think we want that, like, that kid spirit, social kid spirit, and like in everybody to just like, you've said it in previous interviews as well, like we want you to experience this mode with at least one other person that you know, like that you can get on voice chat with, and football is the backdrop. Talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about, catch up, etc. And we've given you, it's like, going to the movies with a friend or going to this with your buddy and like hanging out. We've given you another legitimate way, an exciting way for you to hang out with your buddies. Like that is a great success. If more people are telling us we've engaged in more cooperative voice chat experience in FC than ever before, that's incredible success for us. Maybe one other, again, going back to the kids aspect of things, to his point, the way this new generation of like youngsters are experiencing gaming is different, and it's what technology has enabled them, what different games have enabled them, etc. They're free-spirited, they're more creative than ever before, and they want to see themselves in the game in unique ways, and they want to create play for them in a more organic way than like a very, here is the mission and here's what you got to do, and when you do this it'll be. They engage differently, and we want to see them saying, I can see how this can become even more amazing, and we want to take those things and start building that into the game.